Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 42 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafty shenanigans. Welcome to my podcast, my video podcast, whatever it is we want to call this. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for coming by to check me out. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back again to watch another video and see what I've been up to this past week. Today is Saturday, November 28th, 2020, and we're just winding up after the Thanksgiving holiday here in the US. We had a really quiet Thanksgiving. We typically do because we're transplants to the US from Canada, and we don't have any family here. So for us, Thanksgiving in the US is always, it's a low-key day for us. We did make ourselves a Thanksgiving meal. We found a turkey, got that roasted up, mashed potatoes, stuffing, corn to go with it, and Saturday we're still eating turkey leftovers, and we're gonna have turkey leftovers to freeze. Tomorrow I'm probably going to make a batch of soup with the leftover bones and all the extra stuff from it. But it was really nice. It was just the two of us. Typically always is just the two of us. So really quiet, really low key. We went out and did a little bit of Black Friday shopping yesterday. We just stuck around right in our little downtown. We didn't go farther than a block and a half away from our home. There were no crowds anywhere. We were able to social distance everywhere we were. We were wearing our masks all the time. But we went out to a little restaurant, a little shop for lunch. We had some soup and grilled cheese sandwiches, and then we got a couple cinnamon buns to bring home with us for breakfast today. Then we wandered down to check out a few other stores. We went to a couple thrift stores. Didn't buy anything. I think most of the stuff we bought was food. Anyway, so I checked out a couple thrift stores. We went for a coffee to our little local coffee shop. We checked out this new shop that has a bunch of little kiosks set up in it, and they had a little gift packet, a little swag bag kind of thing for people that came in. So within that, there were a couple gift cards or gift certificates to use in some of the local shops. There were a pair of earrings. Aren't they the cutest? They're just adorable little sunflowers. I absolutely love them. They're so cute. So I got that pair of earrings. Got some gummy candies. And the gummy candies were not my friend. They were not my friend at all. I was gnawing on one last night after supper, which was the turkey sandwich. And I broke a tooth. It wasn't the candy's fault. My teeth are not good. I have more fillings in my head than probably tooth. I have several crowns. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 or 6 crowns. I have a bridge. But anyway, one of my back molar on the bottom, the tooth broke. So the inside part of the tooth, like if you picture your tooth is like this part along the cheek is fine. The filling part across the top is fine. This part down here is gone. So when I poke my tongue in there, there's like this little gap. There's like this rough edge along the gum line, just above the gum line. And then there's like this little dent in where the tooth was. And then part of the filling on the top is there. So it feels like my speech feels strange because my tongue keeps bumping into that spot, and it's, like I said, it's a little bit of a rough edge. So this happened on a Friday night. Nothing I can do on a Friday night but wait till Monday morning to phone my dentist's office and hope that I can get in to see him on Monday. And I hope that he can fix it with just a filling. I really don't want to get yet another crown. They're expensive. I'm just getting tired of having crowns on all my teeth. So I'm hoping he can fill it. If not, we might end up having the tooth pulled. We shall see. Stay tuned for next week to find out what happened to my tooth. So cross your fingers that they can just do a filling and it's all fine. I'm just drinking water today. Room temperature water, because it's not painful, but every once in a while I can feel that there's something not right back there. And I get little twinges of toothache happening back there. So not a happy camper. Not a happy camper at all. So on that note, let's start talking about what you guys came here to see instead of me talking about my teeth and all that fun stuff. So it's done. Look, I told you guys last week that I would be wearing it today for this week. So my Tegna sweater is done. And instead of it being a little bit cropped shirt like it is on everyone else, mine is a tunic. When I blocked it, it blocked out a lot longer than I was expecting it would. It really did. It grew. It grew quite a bit when I was blocking it. I am going to, somewhere along the line in here, I got an additional video where I'm modeling it, and I'll add that in. Actually, I'll just add that in right now. It's a tunic. So you can see what it looks like on. I love it. 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 The neckline, I love the fit of the neckline. It doesn't ride up. It doesn't slide around. It's a nice length. It's a nice style and cut, whatever, of a neckline. I love it. The sleeves are nice. It's kind of like a drop shoulder, and then the sleeves come along from here. So they do fit my dainty arms nicely, and they're a fantastic length. They come just a little bit past the elbow. This bind off is just a tiny bit tighter than this bind off was. Whatever, I'm not gonna fuss about that. So I like the length. It's, like I say, you can kind of scooch it up a little bit if you want it above the elbow, but it falls just below, it naturally just falls just below the elbow. And I love the length. I'll try standing up to show. Can't really see too well. The lace opened up so pretty once it's blocked, but it comes down to, it completely covers my butt. Like completely covers my butt. It comes down to halfway down. It goes halfway to my knees. It's halfway down my legs. It really blocked. It blocked out. It really opened up and stretched on the blocking. Oh well, I'm perfectly fine with it. Absolutely perfectly fine with it being a tunic. I don't mind. I'm happier having a shirt that's a little bit longer than shorter. So I'm okay with that. I ended up with only, I think right now I weighed this now and I have 9 grams of yarn left over. I did use this already, and I made one little mitered square, my scrap wrap. So I probably, when I didn't weigh it before I added a square or added one of my squares to my scrap wrap. So I probably had 12 to 14 grams of yarn left when I was all said and done. So perfect. I'll use this for other little, I don't know, it'll go into some other scrap projects. Once I'm done with my scrap wrap, I'm planning on continuing to use the rest of the scraps that I still have, the fingering weight scraps, to make a granny stripe blanket. So this part will go into that as well. So, but I was happy there was just a little bit of leftover. So Tegna is done, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. For those of you who have never seen or heard of this sweater before, most people have already made this sweater. I'm late to the Tegna party. But it's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I used Quince & Co. Turn for this. I used almost 9 skeins of yarn. I had 8 already, and I ran out. I didn't have enough to finish the sleeves, so to knit this little part here. So I was able to get one more skein I was able to buy from somebody on Ravelry. And with that, like I say, I have 9 grams left of that. So I used 3.5 or 3.25 millimeter needles, or US 3. So I think it was a 3.25. I think I'll double check on my pattern page on Ravelry. So it's done, and I'm so happy with it. So happy with this. I'm looking forward to getting started on some other knit garment. I'm so happy with the way this turned out. I'm so happy with the fit. I love it. Absolutely love it. So there we go. Tegna is done. And I'll say it just one more time, and I'm so happy with it. So next I want to talk about my works in progress. And as I mentioned last week and probably the week before, I'm just finishing up now my week off from work for the Thanksgiving break, and I did what I like to call my WIP-it Down week for this was the Thanksgiving edition for 2020. And what I did with that was I devoted all my spare time each day to working on a specific work in progress. So when I started, the first plan was to finish Tegna, and that was done. I succeeded with that. I got Tegna finished. I got it blocked. It's 100% done. I also spent 4 days 4 or 5 days working on my scrap wrap. And during that time, each day I spent either tucking in tails, so catching up on all the tails on this, or adding more squares. And over the 4 days this week that I worked on it, I managed to add 19 more squares. So I'm super, super happy with that. I've tucked in all the tails that I need to have tucked in. And I think I explained in one of my WIP-it Down videos how I like to tuck in the tails on my scrap wrap. And yeah, so I added 19 squares. This one I'm using all sorts of scrap yarns, all my different fingering weight scraps. And I'm making it into a large rectangle, so when it's done, it'll be 25 squares wide by 13 squares deep. So I'm planning on doing it as something to throw over my shoulders while I'm sitting and watching TV. So I'm using a 2.5 millimeter needle, or US 1.5. And so again, I added 19 squares and now I have a total of 25 squares left to go. I averaged each of these days adding 5 squares. So if I really buckle down and spent all my spare time working on this, I could have all the squares done within a week or so. Once all the squares are added though, I do want to add an applied I-cord border in I think black, all the way around. So that'll take forever. It'll take a long time, but it'll really pull it together, and I think it'll make it look fantastic. I might do white. Maybe I'll do white or bear, like that off-white color, but we shall see. So I added, like I said, I added 19 squares. I have 25 left to go. So here's all of the ones I added. This one, this one, this one, these two, these two. Here's the Tegna square. I added these two, these three with the stitch markers on it, these 3 here, this one, and this one, and these 4. So it's coming along. It's just this corner. This corner is all that's left to add squares to. So I am planning for the next several days to work on my slipstravaganza shawl, but I do want to try to make a point of adding a square to each day for the next while, just so that I can get that done. That wrap has been on the needles and in progress since 2014. So it's getting old. It's been on the go for so long now that I just want it done. I really just want to get it done. So I'm still holding out hope that it will be finished by the end of 2020, and that it'll be a completely finished project before this year is over. So keep tuning in over the next few weeks and see how much more progress I get made on this, so that we can see if I do get it to be a finished object before the year is over. My second work in progress that I spent a fair bit of time, well, not as much time, I only spent a couple days on this one, which is why I want to spend the rest of my spare time today and tomorrow working on it, is my Slipstravaganza mystery shawl. This is a pattern by Stephen West. It's a mystery shawl pattern that I cast on at the beginning of October. And I didn't make as much progress on this as I had hoped to make this week, but so I'm getting all tangled up in my yarn here. But I did make some decent progress on it. And as I mentioned in previous episodes, the rows are incredibly long on this shawl right now. Each row is over 900 stitches. So it takes forever to knit a row on this. So this past week, so Slipstravaganza, it's by Stephen West. It's a mystery shawl knit along that started back in the beginning, I think the 9th of October. I'm using 3.25 millimeter needles, or US 3, and I'm using whole super soft yarn for this. So there's 4 colors. The main color, which I'm using, it's called Pineapple, and then 3 contrast colors. I'm using Sugar Snap, Geranium, and Carmine. So it's a light, medium, and dark pinkish colors for my contrast colors. So I'm making decent progress. I managed to add 5 rows. So again, over 900 stitches, that's still, I'm getting close to 5,000 stitches I added on in the past several days. I'm ready to start row 24 on the shorter border. And I am kind of leaning towards doing the larger border to make it a little bit bigger. So if I opt to do just the smaller version, I need to add 1 more row, plus 1 more row in the dark pink, then 1 row of the main color, my pineapple color, and then do an I-cord bind off. If I decide to do the larger border, I am on row 24 out of 49. So I still have a long way to go. And then plus the I-cord bind off, over 900 and some. By the end of the if you do the larger size, by the time you get to the end, you're doing an I-cord bind off over 950 stitches. So I'm still hoping to finish this before 2020 is finished. I only have 1 project I'm going to cast. I think the plan is only to cast on 1 more project between now and the beginning of the year. That one is the 2020 Advent scarf by Trisha Weatherston, and that one, the preliminary clue is out. I haven't done it yet. I will do that on Sunday. This is because Sunday is actually the first day of Advent. Sunday or Monday. Probably Sunday, and because that is the first day of Advent. And then there'll be 1 clue coming out each day starting the 1st of December. So once those clues start coming out, I will spend a little bit of time each morning starting the 1st of December working on my Advent scarf. And that one I will be trying my best to keep up with that one the whole time. And the plan is to have that finished in time for Christmas, or shortly after Christmas. So that one I do plan to start it, but I also plan to finish it also in 2020. So that's the plans for the rest of the year for me. And before I forget, I'll just show you where I'm at with Slipstravaganza. So here's what, so there's so many stitches on here, it's really hard to show this off. So here is where the border is at right now. And try if I can. I'm trying to figure out how best to show it. So I've done the light pink, the medium, and I have one more row of the dark pink to do. And then for this to finish, you'll repeat this part again from this triangle where the light pink, the white and then the light pink are, you will repeat this portion here, you'll repeat. So you'll have, instead of having three little chevron stripes, you'll have a set of 2 of them. So you'll have the 3, then you'll have the same 3 repeating again. So that's where I'm at with that one. So hopefully by next week I will have a goodly chunk more done on Slipstravaganza. Hopefully I'll have a few more squares added to my scrap wrap. And I also should have, yeah, by next Saturday when I film again, I will have my Advent scarf I will have started my Advent scarf. So I will have that to show you as well. So what else? I think that's about it. I talked about all the random stuff at the beginning instead of at the end. That's okay. So yeah, I had a really productive week. Tegna's done. I've added 19 squares to my scrap wrap, plus caught up and continued to stay caught up with tucking in all the tails. And I also added 5 rows to Slipstravaganza. So I'm almost done the small border, and I think I am going to continue on and do the larger border. As tempting as it is to stop after the small border is done, I'd like to go for the little bit bigger size. So we shall see. Alrighty, so that about winds it up for this episode. If you're in the US, I hope you had a really nice Thanksgiving time with family. I hope you stayed safe. I hope you stay healthy. And I look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Take care. Bye.